Everybody. Welcome back to the show. I'm Michael Chikeen, and today I'm speaking with Dr. Jason Del Gandio, communications professor at Temple University, Carbondale, and founder of 20 Minute Vibe. For 30 years, Jason has been dissecting what he calls the vibe, the energy exchange between you and the world. His doctoral dissertation was the first academic study of bodily emanation, laying the groundwork for philosophy that blends emotion, body language, and presence. Through essays, videos, and bite-sized classes that he has on 20minutevibe.com, he teaches listeners how to explain, feel, and shape vibe in 5, 10, and 20-minute sessions. So today we're going to unpack what vibe actually means, how tuning into it can deepen every interaction from first dates to public speaking, and why exploring these invisible currents of energy might be the next frontier in human connection. Dr. Jason Galdandio, welcome to the show.
Hi, Michael. How are you?
Good, thanks. Thanks for being here. I want to jump into, because we talked a little bit before the show, that this word is just absolutely everywhere. I don't know, if you know when it started, I'd love to know, but it seems like it's taken over, and I think a lot of us got super annoyed by how often it was being said. But now it kind of does work as a great description for a general, like, energetic feeling in a relationship or a place or all these things. So yeah, I'd love to get into, how you got into it and what your entry point was.
Yeah, sure. So I guess I'll begin at the very beginning. I grew up in a house where the word was used on a regular basis, and I don't think that's out of the ordinary. No one had to explain what it meant, but you said a vibe or vibes, and you kind of just, it was your dad or your mom or your brother, whatever it is, you kind of just knew what it was, right? No big deal.
Mm.
But then in my late teens, I got involved with a lot of subculture scenes, countercultural scenes, early rave scene in New York City. I was following bands on tour, bands like Fish and whatnot, and all these subcultures. The word vibe was like part of the culture, like literally. So the vibe of the dance floor, the vibe of the band, the vibe of the DJ, the vibe of the party, etc. And at a very young age, about 18 or 19, I actually started to wonder, like, well, what is everyone talking about here, right? Even though I'm using the word, I understand what it means, they're using the word, they understand what it means, but no one's actually explaining it or defining it or trying to give any kind of theoretical framework. And so really, at a very early age, I took up an intellectual interest in this thing we call the vibe, right? Then I wrote my first paper on the vibe in a college class on nonverbal communication. And then I went to graduate school, and for my master's thesis and my doctoral dissertation, I basically constructed my own philosophy of the vibe, which I refer to as bodily emanation. In other words, your body emanates or radiates an actual feeling or energy out into the world, and other bodies can feel that and experience that. And that's really where I began, working on this vibe stuff. And then over the next 30 plus years or so, right, I would come back and forth to that. I would do other things, but it was always a passion of mine. And a few years back, maybe 4, 5, 6 years ago, I decided, well, I'm going to go back to this thing full time, and been creating this website called 20 Minute Vibe. I'm currently working on a book about vibes. And so here we are. That's how I got here.